Morning, everyone. Hope you can all hear me. Wanted to welcome you all to our second annual Lit Fest. I'm here with Sean Murphy, who is our fearless leader, CEO extraordinaire of 1455. And I'm going to turn it over to him for his opening remarks.
Thank you so much, Karen. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us bright and early. If you know me, you know that I mean that sincerely, because anything before 9 o'clock is bright and early. I'm really excited to kick off day 2 of our second annual Summer Literary Festival. I'm grateful that you're here. I hope you enjoy the content that we've got planned for the next 2 days. As a reminder, it's all free, and we encourage you to share, spread the word. I want to thank you for being here, and I want to thank my team, all of whom without this, none would be possible. So if you're liking what you're seeing, it's because of what's going on behind the scenes, not because anything I've orchestrated. So a silent round of applause for all the people that have really worked hard to make this happen. I have a few opening remarks before we get into Beth Ann's amazing Building Your Author platform, which starts right at 9. I do want to be cognizant of the fact that we are doing this festival, but we're also very aware that 2020 has been, to say the least, a bit of a disruption for everyone across the world. And our hearts are with all of you and everyone that is either struggling or knows people that are struggling. These are heavy times. And I hope you agree that because of that, and not despite it, it's more important than ever to do everything we can to build community, celebrate creativity and art, and look for ways to find light in the darkness. And I think our festival is certainly trying to do that. And I hope that you find yourself inspired and find a welcome community here at 1455. Our decision to carry on with the festival is not meant to ignore the very real struggles that are going on, but rather comment on them and transcend them any way we can. And again, that's what we're looking to do this weekend. I've told many people that have asked as early as back in March, when most of us started to appreciate that, things were changing. We recognized that we needed to make some adjustments, and there was really never any hesitation in terms of carrying on with the festival in a virtual atmosphere. And I think the silver lining that we're all realizing is that not only was it possible to pull this off, but we've actually been able to make the festival bigger and more inclusive. And of course, that's been our goal all along. And I think you'll see a running theme throughout the weekend of artists commenting on how extraordinary circumstances have actually enabled us to be creative and innovative and find ways to connect and promote each other's work and find that solidarity that we need at times like this. Let me give you a few words about the festival, which we're operating on the theme of storytelling. And I think on one hand, that's obviously a no-brainer. What is literary arts and art in general, if not the art of storytelling? But when we decided to actually call that out and make that the theme of this festival, some thought went into that. And in terms of organizing the panels and what you're going to hear and see, we are fortunate to have assembled a really diverse array of writers and thinkers and academics, including folks from the musical field, the acting field, to really take a deeper dive into what does storytelling mean, aside from you tell a story. What does it mean through time? What does it mean during times of crises? What does it mean to the individual? And how are we finding ways to be more effective storytellers? I wrote something back in the winter, which does seem like a million years ago, and I want to share a couple of paragraphs from what I would say was kind of our mission statement and how we developed the idea to organize this festival, which I'm delighted to say we were very happy with what we pulled off last year. I think we had 20 panels and over 50 authors and more than 150 participants throughout the weekend. This year, we have 160 authors. We have over 50 panels. And the registration at last check was a little under 500. The point there is that it's working for us to try to be more inclusive, and I think that message is getting across. So Before we begin today's proceedings, let me tell you a story. The trajectory that we can easily trace from the first cave drawings to social media involves the impetus of narrative. 1455 takes its name in celebration of the year that Gutenberg perfected his obsession of the printing press and began producing books on a massive scale. And this was arguably the signal socio-political advancement of the millennium. Without this miracle, the act of storytelling would remain, at worst, an oral tradition, at best, reserved for an elite class that controls both the creation and dissemination of information. As such, through Gutenberg's work in the year 1455, knowledge, literacy, and an appreciation of cultural traditions were advanced practically overnight. Stop me if you've heard this one before. The internet was a pretty big paradigm shift as well. Arguably, it represents the most significant innovation since Gutenberg's press. With the internet, anyone can be a writer, an editor, or a content provider in 2020. This is, in almost every way, fake news excluded, a blessing. But for the artistic class, it's a mixed one. In short and in sum, it's never been easier or less expensive to get your story out into the world, but there's never been more competition, more content that's competing in this ever-crowded space. In my experience as a poet, journalist, critic, tech analyst, and founder of a nonprofit organization, I believe that 1455's unique value proposition is harnessing this messy but viable potential, exposing important voices, inspiring awareness via educational, cultural, and social programs and events. Indeed, we've begun this work in earnest. We have a monthly author series that was traditionally and hopefully soon will be back here in Winchester at the Hanley Regional Library, where we bring in a visiting author to do a reading and take questions from a live audience. We've shifted that to a virtual platform, and of course it's been seamless. And we were happy again to be reaching probably more people, and we have an opportunity to cast a wider net for awesome authors that we can pull into our orbit. We have monthly spoken word events here at the Hideaway Cafe, one of Winchester's most progressive and inclusive venues. It's also a wonderful coffee shop where you can get a great sandwich and meet interesting people. We've done a handful of workshops, and of course our literary festival, which we're delighted to carry that tradition on and see no reason that we won't be doing this every summer for the foreseeable future. As you'll see in one of the PowerPoint deck slides, we actually are excited to continue and augment this programming. We're going to be offering a formal workshop series kicking off right after Lit Fest. Stay tuned for more information about that, but we're very honored to have partnered with a handful, more than a handful of established, in some cases, very noteworthy authors who are willing to work with us and reach out to writers who otherwise might not be able to attend workshops in person. Again, for the foreseeable future, that's our reality. We wanted to lean into that and say, how can we provide resources and how can we help writers connect with other writers and master their craft? We will be rolling out this workshop series with a variety of different workshops in different genres, different times. We're going to have a series, we're going to have one-offs, and we're really excited about that. We're also kicking off our publication, which initially will be a every other month publication called Movable Type, again, an homage to Gutenberg. And this is going to be a publication that doubles as newsletter and literary journal, where every month we're going to have a particular topic and we're going to have a rotating cast of guest writers weigh in and share their words. And we want that to reach a wide audience. And not last, for those of you that want to hear more of my voice, which is a dubious proposition, I'm really excited that we've, I think, found an ideal blend between the old school podcast and this new fangled technology. And we're rolling out the 1455 interview, which will be in 15 minutes or less, a weekly conversation, not only with writers, but really artists and educators and academics, people from across the spectrum talking about what storytelling means, what their challenges are, lessons they've learned, and of course, everyone's favorite questions, what their favorite books are, what motivates them, et cetera. So all of these things are coming in the fall, and heading into 2021, we've got a lot of momentum, and we're excited to continue to provide these free resources and build a robust website. So in sum, at 1455, we're storytellers telling stories and doing everything possible to shine necessary light on the words that might change the world, one narrative at a time. All of which is to say, the need for personal narrative is as imperative and empowering as ever, and the ability to share these stories has never been more accessible. It's never been more possible. We bring together artists, educators, entrepreneurs, and enthusiasts, all with a passion to promote literacy and the literary arts, and we're finding ways to engage in positive dialogue and opportunities to enrich all by all means necessary. I'd like to thank you again for being part of this celebration of creativity and community. We want to hear from you. We welcome feedback. There will be a formal survey that goes out after the festival. I also humbly ask you to help spread the word on social media. Again, this is an entirely free event. We encourage and invite everyone possible to check in, whether it's for one session or for the whole thing. I also want to make a pitch that you'll hear repeatedly throughout the weekend. Although this is a free festival, we want everyone to do whatever they can to support the amazing writers and speakers that are giving their time to be a part of this festival. There are easy links to their books. We're in partnership with the amazing Potter's House in DC, working with bookshop.org, and we're making all these books available. So if you're intrigued by what you see, check out those links and go to bookshop.org, and you can buy any of the books that these writers have written, and we can pay it forward in that regard. Tweet, share on social media, let the world know that you're here. We appreciate anything you can do to help us spread the word. And that's it. I'm grateful to be here. It's been a labor of love. I once again sincerely want to thank my team, and I'll thank them by name later in the weekend. But again, anything you're seeing that's good is thanks to them. Any glitches are invariably my bad. But I hope you have a great time. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll be kicking off the programming in a couple of minutes here. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.